Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to spend 13 years building a dream, only to wake up one day and realize that dream has become a part of millions of people's lives? Not just through music, not just through performances, but through memories, through moments, through emotions that have stayed with people during some of the happiest and hardest chapters of their lives. And what if, on the anniversary of the day that journey began, fans found a way to turn an entire city into a celebration of your existence? What if, at the exact same moment, your group was once again being recognized as the most influential boy group in Korea? And what if all of this happened while thousands of fans were gathering to see you perform live? That is the extraordinary story surrounding BTS and Jin right now. And the deeper you look into it, the more emotional it becomes. Because this isn't simply a story about rankings. It's not just a story about advertisements. It's a story about 13 years of trust, 13 years of growth, 13 years of never giving up, and perhaps most importantly, 13 years of a bond that continues to grow stronger between BTS and the people who love them. Let's go back for a moment. June 13, 2013. 7 young men stood on a stage with hopes bigger than their circumstances. At that time, nobody could have predicted what would happen next. Nobody could have imagined stadiums filled with tens of thousands of people. Nobody could have imagined chart records across multiple continents. Nobody could have imagined that their names would become known in countries they had never even visited. And yet, somehow, that's exactly what happened. Among those 7 members was Jin, the oldest member. The one whose journey into music was unlike anyone else's. Over the years, fans have watched him transform in ways that are almost impossible to describe. When people first noticed Jin, many talked about his visuals. His appearance earned attention immediately. But as the years passed, something interesting happened. People began to see much more than that. They discovered his voice. They discovered his humor. They discovered his kindness. They discovered the sincerity behind his words. And little by little, Jin became someone fans didn't simply admire. He became someone they felt connected to. Someone who could make them laugh when they needed comfort. Someone who could inspire them when they felt uncertain. Someone who seemed to carry warmth wherever he went. That connection is exactly what was on display this month. To celebrate Jin's debut anniversary, fans participated in a special voting event held through the fan platform Picnic. The voting period ran from May 9th to May 23. And when the results were finally revealed, the numbers were astonishing. Jin ranked first with an incredible 1,138,775 votes. Take a moment to think about that. More than 1 million votes. More than 1 million individual actions. Each click representing someone who wanted to say, "Thank you, congratulations, we're still here." And perhaps the most touching part is what happened next. Because this victory wasn't just another online achievement. It became something visible, something real, something that transformed the city itself. As a reward for placing first, a special congratulatory advertisement featuring Jin was displayed through the Seoul Underworld signage in Seoul from June 12th to June 13th. At first glance, it might seem like just another digital billboard. But for fans, it meant so much more. Because this wasn't a company project. It wasn't a corporate campaign. It wasn't something planned by marketers. It was created through fan support, through fan dedication, through fan love. Imagine walking through Seoul and suddenly seeing Jin's face lighting up a massive public display. Imagine seeing messages celebrating 13 years of memories. Imagine knowing that fans from all over the world helped make that moment possible. For many ARMYs, seeing those images wasn't simply exciting. It was emotional, because the advertisement symbolized something larger than a single event. It symbolized 13 years of standing together. 13 years of supporting someone through every challenge and every triumph. And the timing could not have been more perfect. Because while Seoul was celebrating Jin's debut anniversary through giant digital displays, something equally special was happening hundreds of kilometers away. Jin was meeting fans in person. At the BTS World Tour ARIRANG concerts in Busan on June 12th and June 13th, thousands of fans gathered to create new memories together. Think about how powerful that is. In Seoul, fans were looking at giant screens celebrating the past. In Busan, fans were creating the future. 2 cities, 1 celebration, 1 story, 1 artist. For longtime fans, it must have felt almost surreal. Many of them remember watching Jin's earliest performances. They remember the uncertainty. They remember the obstacles. They remember the moments when BTS was still fighting to prove itself. And now, 13 years later, they are witnessing concerts, anniversary celebrations, and public tributes happening simultaneously. It's the kind of transformation that feels almost unbelievable, yet somehow has remained remarkably consistent throughout it all. Despite becoming one of the most recognizable stars in the world, he has never lost the qualities that made people love him in the first place. His sense of humor remains intact. His humility remains intact. His gratitude remains intact. And perhaps that's one reason why fans continue to feel so strongly connected to him. Success often changes people, but many fans feel that Jin never stopped being Jin. And while Jin's anniversary celebration was capturing attention, another major achievement was quietly unfolding. One that reveals just how powerful BTS remains even after more than a decade in the industry. According to the latest boy group brand reputation rankings released for June 2026, BTS once again secured the #1 position. Now, here's where things become truly fascinating. This ranking wasn't based on a simple poll. It came from an analysis of more than 63 million pieces of brand-related data collected over a month. That's an enormous amount of information. Articles, discussions, mentions, community activity, public engagement. And after analyzing all of it, BTS still emerged at the very top. Think about how extraordinary that is. The K-pop industry moves incredibly fast. New groups debut constantly, new trends appear every year. Competition becomes stronger with every generation. Yet BTS continues to stand above them all. Not because they're standing still, but because they're continuing to evolve. The analysis revealed something especially interesting. Among the most strongly associated keywords linked to BTS were World Tour, ARMY, Busan Concert, Release, Be Together, and Record. If you look closely, those words tell an emotional story. A story about reunion. A story about movement. A story about people finding their way back to each other. Perhaps that's why the phrase "be together" stood out so much. Because after everything BTS and ARMY have experienced together over the years, that simple phrase carries enormous meaning. Being together isn't something fans take for granted anymore. Every concert matters. Every performance matters. Every interaction matters. Every smile matters. Because they understand how precious these moments are. And the numbers reflected that sentiment. The BTS brand achieved an overwhelmingly positive sentiment score of nearly 93%. 93%. That isn't just popularity. That isn't just visibility. That is affection. That is trust. That is emotional connection. And honestly, when you look at everything happening this month, it's not difficult to understand why. You have Jin receiving over 1 million votes from fans eager to celebrate his debut anniversary. You have massive public advertisements dedicated to him. You have thousands gathering in Busan for concerts. You have BTS ranking #1 in brand reputation once again. And behind all of it, you have millions of fans continuing to support a group that has been part of their lives for over a decade. That's what makes this story so emotional. Because beneath the rankings and statistics lies something much more human. There are fans who discovered BTS during difficult periods of their lives. Fans who grew up alongside the members. Fans who graduated school while listening to BTS. Fans who started careers while listening to BTS. Fans who found comfort through lonely nights because of BTS. And now those same fans are celebrating 13 years of memories. For them, this anniversary isn't simply about marking time. It's about reflecting on a journey they experienced together. And perhaps that's why moments like these feel so powerful. Because they remind everyone of just how far they've come. 13 years ago, BTS debuted. Today, Jin's image lights up Seoul. Thousands gather in Busan to celebrate with him. Millions continue supporting BTS around the world. And the group remains at the top of Korea's brand reputation rankings. If that's not a testament to lasting impact, what is? But maybe the most beautiful part of this story isn't what BTS has achieved. Maybe it's what they continue to inspire. The loyalty, the gratitude, the connection. The feeling that no matter how much time passes, the bond remains. And as fans watched Jin's anniversary advertisements shine across Seoul while hearing news of BTS's latest #1 ranking, many were probably thinking the same thing. This isn't the end of a story. It's another beginning, another chapter, another milestone, another memory waiting to be created. Because 13 years later, BTS isn't simply surviving. They're still making history. And Jin isn't simply celebrating an anniversary. He's celebrating 13 years of touching hearts around the world. And judging by everything we're seeing right now, the next chapter may be even more remarkable than the last.